Look at that. We're live for another Joking Adventure Hour. This is Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. Hello to X Rumble and BitChute. Hello to Lurkers and Bots. Hello to the chat. Hello to George.
Greetings already.
Hello to YouTube. Yay. Before we jump in, be sure you get your copy of The Immortal Mask, a 200-page graphic novel on sale now on my website, Dinales.com, CriticalBlast.com, and Amazon.com.
Yep.
All right. Observing Consciousness writes, Trump just declared a national emergency over vulnerabilities inside the U.S. bulk power system. That means that a threat is sitting inside the infrastructure that powers defense, emergency service, communication, industry, and economy. Now, lined up with the QTFY, Chinese state-backed operator hiding behind compromised routers and I believe it's IoT devices while probing sensitive U.S. network. Then remember what Strutnek proved when malware crossed into industrial control and started manipulating physical machinery. So yeah,
what?
Remember we talked about this. This was back in like 2021.
Yeah, I know, but it's there's a lot of time between then and now. Somebody would have said, "Oh, okay, let's upload a workaround or a disable code and not have it happen."
They did. It's the system's so old they can't do it. They can still manipulate it.
They're trying to stop an analog system from actually doing that analog stuff.
Well, they what is it? They slave the analog system into the digital system because it would be better processing. Yeah. But that means that now anybody can access that analog system and take over.
Wow.
You think you turn off the button. Well, guess what? Somebody hacked into the digital side and reactivated the button because the button is just a electrical impulse saying turn off, and somebody digital said turn on with electrical impulses.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Yeah. Let me see. This is declaring a national emergency to secure the United States bulk power system. This is Executive Order 14420 by the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and law of the United States, including the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, 50 USC 1701 and sequence, the National Emergency Act, 50 USC 1601 e sequence, and Section 301 of Title III United States Code. So I hereby determine the and order national emergency. As President of the United States, my highest duty is protecting the national security, foreign policy, economy of this country. Certain foreign actors are increasingly creating and exploiting vulnerability in the United States bulk power system, which provides electricity that support our national defense, vital emergency services, critical infrastructure, and economy. During my first term, I found that the bulk power system could be a target of those seeking to commit malicious acts against the United States, including malicious cyber activities, because of significant risk that a successful attack would have on our economy, human health, and safety, and national defense. Since my first term, the threat to the United States regarding the foreign supply of bulk power system electric equipment has become even more acute. The rapid growth of advanced manufacturing, data centers, artificial intelligence, and defense production has increased the national dependence on abundant, reliable electricity and magnified the consequences of a successful attack or supply disruption on the bulk power system. Minimal restriction on acquisition or operation in the United States of foreign-produced bulk power system electric equipment augment the ability of some foreign entity to create and exploit vulnerability in such equipment. For instance, such equipment might have digital backdoor built into their system that allow a foreign country to access that equipment remotely, which us in the United States have done before. Further, continued United States reliance on foreign source of bulk power system electric equipment with these potential national security vulnerability also creates a supply chain vulnerability that could eliminate the supplies of these products in the United States as a result of disruption in international trades or other causes. Now, therefore, I, Donald Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the situation with the respect of the foreign supplies of bulk power system electric equipment constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat which has its source in whole or substantial part outside the United States to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States, and hereby declare a national emergency with respect to that threat. This threat exists both in the cases of an individual transaction and where transactions are considered as a class. To deal with this threat, additional steps are required to protect the security, integrity, and reliability of bulk power system electric equipment used in the United States. Section 2, Prohibition and Implementation. The following actions are prohibited: any acquisition, importation, transfer, installation of any foreign produced bulk power system electric equipment by any person with respect to any property subject to the jurisdiction of the United States, where the transaction involves any property in which the foreign country or national thereof has any interest, including an interest in a contract for provision of equipment, where the transaction was initiated after the date of this order, and where the Secretary of Energy, Secretary, in coordination with the Director of Office of Management and Budget, in consultation with the Secretary of War and the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Homeland Security, and the Director of National Intelligence, and as appropriate, the heads of other executive department agencies have determined that one transaction involving bulk power system, electric equipment, any critical component, software, firmware, digital service, maintenance service, or remote access capability associated with such equipment designed, developed, manufactured, or supplied by a person owned by, controlled by, or subject to jurisdiction or direction of a covered foreign entity, and two, the transaction poses an undue risk to sabotage, subversion, unauthorized access, malicious remote action, or supply disruption affecting the design, integrity, manufacturing, production, distribution, installation, operation, or maintenance of bulk power system in the United States. B, pose an undue risk to catastrophic effects on security or resilience of the United States, critical infrastructure or economy of the United States, or otherwise poses an unacceptable risk to the national security of the United States or the security and safety of the United States or person.
What?
Yeah. Hey, George.
What?
The ballot boxes, are they not electronic?
Well, they shouldn't be. We're going to paper, are we?
Yeah, we're possibly going to paper. Maybe not this election, but next election. But
Yeah,
for the time being, it's an electric box, right?
I guess so.
So the electric box, they said that it doesn't connect to the internet,
Okay.
but we found out that it does connect to the internet.
Okay.
We find out that foreign actors can plug in U.S. or I guess officials, vendors can go in and plug in SUB that can change the votes, right?
Yeah.
So under this national emergency, basically that's kind of banned.
Yep.
Meaning that they can't do it because that would be against national security, which means that oversees the normal civil
Oh,
code.
shoot, that's right. Because you can't circumvent the law.
The law. And this is not a civilian law. This is a national security power law,
Yes.
which means it becomes military law.
Uh-oh. Somebody's going to be in trouble.
Right. Now, what is also distributed over networks, George?
Yeah.
Finance.
Let's see. Information.
information, but also finance.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Finance, regular finance, when you use your credit card, connects to the access point, goes to the internet, and does all the processing, right?
Yep. 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 Yep.
You
Yep. Yep. Yep.
tamper
Yep.
it, we're under national security. That's under the national security. Why would that be so prevalent? Because it's controlled demolition in this point.
Yep.
Because what are they doing? They already passed the Genius Act. We're waiting for the Clarity Act. And guess what? While we're doing that transition from fiat to resource backed treasury bills, we need to protect the economy and in the finances, because right now not a lot of people are on digital coin, digital currency. We
Yeah.
haven't introduced the bill, the physical bill, the resource bill, that you can say, hey, this treasury bill, not a Federal Reserve note, but this treasury bill is $1. And if you go online, then any stable coin that you can convert to $1 equivalent. And if you want it back, that $1 comes back digitally back to that $1 physically. You can exchange it. So you want to make sure you have the confidence of doing that, which is why we need to wait for the laws, and why the central banks is lobbying so hard on the Clarity Act. Let me continue. Otherwise poses unacceptable risk to the national security of the United States or security or safety of the United States persons. Upon making the determination described in subsection A of this section, the Secretary, in consultation with the Secretary of War, Secretary of Commerce, Secretary of Homeland Security, and Director of National Intelligence, may impose condition on the continued use, operation, maintenance, servicing, and updating of foreign manufacturer operated bulk power system electricity equipment acquired or installed before the date of this order, including requirements to identify, isolate, monitor, secure, disconnect, replace, or remove such equipment. Hey, George, remember Janine Piero when she went to a closet and she discovered all those laptops that were just sitting there and not being used?
Yeah.
and,
Yep.
and it's so weird that she decided to make a show of it and had no idea.
Yep.
Hey, George, maybe that's a foreign manufacturer equipment that had malicious malware that, if connected to our system, would access back doors. They discover it and put it all in one place. Janine Piero showcased it to all the enemies or foreign actors, say, we found all the system infected and removed it properly.
Oh, we got your code.
We got your codes. How do you feel? It's like, oh, we didn't destroy the equipment. The equipment never got destroyed. We have a lock and key. Let me show you. It's like waving your dick around.
Oh, interesting. Oh.
Oh, wait. And you know who's also in the news who waved his dick around? Hunter Biden.
Any James Gunn movie?
Oh, I didn't know about that. I stopped paying attention DC and James Gunn a while
Yeah,
back ago.
yeah. He dropped a wiener in episode 2 of Lanterns.
Oh boy.
Yep.
He's sure going through. He's sure making sure that the DC and is going to have problems when Paramount takes over.
Yep.
He's going burn bridges.
Yep.
Oh well. I'm glad I'm not watching it.
Okay, you were saying?
Oh yeah. Prohibition in this section applies except to the extent provided by statutes or regulation, orders, directives, or licenses that may be issued pursuant to this order, notwithstanding any contracts enter into or any license or permit granted prior to the date of this order. The Secretary, in consultation with any senior executive branch official he deems appropriate, may establish criteria and procedures for recognizing particular equipment, particular vendors, and bulk power system electric equipment market as pre-qualified for future transaction and therefore exempt from the subsection A of this section. It may apply these criteria to establish and publish a list of pre-qualified equipment and vendors. Noting this provision limits the Secretariat's authority under this section to prohibit or otherwise regulate any transaction involving qualified equipment or suppliers. We know who our friends are, who our enemies are, so we're going to buy from our friends. Quotes. Any transaction that evades or avoid or has the purpose of evading or avoiding or causing violation of or attempts to violate any prohibitions or requirement under this order is prohibited. Any conspiracy formed to violate any prohibition or requirement under this order is prohibited. Isn't it funny? Conspiracy, George. Conspiracy. The act of one or two more people doing something illegal is a conspiracy. Getting their ducks in a row, I see. This is a setup. It's a lot of prep work.
It's a stitch up, sir.
Section 3 Authorities. The Secretary is hereby authorized to take such action directing the timing and manner of the cessation of pending and future transaction prohibited pursuant to Section 1 of this order, ordering the replacement of equipment posing an unacceptable risk to the national security, adopting appropriate rules and regulation, and employing all other powers granted to the President by the IEEPA as may be necessary to implement this order. The head of each agency is authorized to and take shall all appropriate measure within the agency authority to implement this order. The head of each agency may, consistent with the applicable law, including Section 301 of Title III, United States Code, deregulate the authority to make such appropriate measure within the agency. Rules and regulation issued pursuant to this order may, among other things, determine the particular countries or person are a cover for an entity exclusively for the purpose of this order, identify persons owned by, controlled by, or subject to the jurisdiction or direction of a covered for an entity exclusively for this purpose of this order, identify particular equipment or countries with respect to transactions involving bulk power system electric equipment warrant particular scrutinies under the provision of this order and establish procedure to license transaction otherwise prohibited to this pursuant to this order within 120 days of this date of this order or sooner, depending on the emergency. The Secretary, in consultation with the Secretary of War, Homeland Security, Director of National Intelligence, and any other senior executive branch the Secretary deems appropriate, shall publish rules or regulation implementing the authorities delegated to the Secretary by this order as needed. So, reading this, and then again 128 days as the procedure of promoting federal energy infrastructure procurement policy to support national security and resilience. You got to remember, our elections are under national security. He put that during the first term. President Autopet kept renewing that order. That's one of the few things. And it's now a national security thing, meaning our national security is safe for many things because guess what? National emergency Trump courts ruling.
Silly rabbit.
Guess what?
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
No court has jurisdictions over a national emergency.
Yep. So what does that mean? You're basically you're being run by the military. But Trump is president. Who's the commander in chief of the armed forces, George?
The president of the United States.
Bingo. And if he's making national emergency, which we read is 11 out of the 43 national emergency that's active, then wouldn't you say effectively the military is running the country right now?
Yeah. Hey, let's just continue playing these games while you guys are getting distracted. Canada's going to take over America, and we're going to rename this side of the hemisphere the Canadas.
I thought you were going to say Southern Ontario.
No. No, no,
I'm telling you, we're gonna call your
we're
guys.
going to respect the culture. We're not going to change the language. We're
Yeah,
just going to just put our brand on it. That's all. The Canadas,
the Canadas.
the North Canada and the South Canada.
Nobody wants to be South Canada.
Well, you know what? They're just going to have to deal with it. And the Gulf of America is going to be the Gulf of Canada.
Okay. Uh,
and, and,
G.
and Lake
Go ahead.
Superior, Lake
Yep.
Huron, Lake Ontario, all of
Yeah.
them are going to be Lake Canada 1, Lake Canada 2, Lake Canada 3.
Wouldn't just Lake Ontario just stay in Lake Ontario?
Screw Ontario.
We're
All the
reforming
Quebecers don't
into
like
the north
Ontario.
of. No, you know what? I'm pretty sure it'll be the United States of Northern North America because it'll be easier to be a federalized parliament than North and South Canada.
Yep.
GBC breaking. Florida Representative Randy Fine was caught illegally voting on behalf of the other members during a vote on a bill banning boycotts of Israel. Yes, this is a real video from 2024. Huh. And he wasn't arrested. I guess there's more to that story than meets the eye. But he is acting shifty.
Yep.
Red Pill 0.1. Breaking. New York Attorney General Letitia James pleads not guilty to a federal charge of bank fraud. She has not filed a motion to dismiss and accuse President Trump of vindictive and selective prosecution. The pot meets the kettle. The pot meets the kettle black.
Yep.
All right. So this one is from Brian Cates, the next one up. Brian Kate, political economists and pundits, they didn't tell you from the beginning, they showed you. Trump never won a legally held election for federal office. Nobody has, not in my lifetime. Trump never had a legally certified presidential election win. Nobody has, not in my lifetime. Understand? The election at the federal level has all been illegally conducted, and therefore, those illegal election results for those offices could not be legally certified. I said again, Trump has never won a legally held election for a federal office. Nobody has. Nobody as in Nobody, meaning Obama, Clinton's, both Bushes, uh, Reagan, Carter, Nixon, none of them. Since there's never been a legally conducted election followed by a legally certified election result in our lifetime, every single president has been illegitimate, and every Congress has been illegitimate.
That's a tall order, sir.
Yeah, this is what Brian Cates is saying.
Wait a minute.
Fed-
Are you saying
Go
that
ahead.
the 2028 election will be the very first election in for like forever to actually be an actual election of the people for the people?
Possibly, yeah. So then we have to see if Trump um, is a legitimate president. Then that means that all the governors and everybody else in 2024 elections are legitimate. That means in 2022, people who got elected are legitimate. That means in 2020 got illegitimate. 2018 is legitimate. So every 2 years elections are legitimate. So that means Trump, auto pen, Trump, Obama, Bush Jr., Clinton, Bush Sr., Carter, Reagan, Carter. Oh, is it? Let me see. Bush, Reagan, Carter, um, Ford, Gerald Ford. He was not elected to office. He just assumed office. And before Ford, Nixon, and then before Nixon, Lyndon B. Johnson. And then it becomes a question if John F. Kennedy was legitimate or not.
Yep.
Why would I put a question mark on JFK? Well, because of Hawaii. And for people who are wondering, what do you mean by Hawaii?
Oh yeah, you guys took over Hawaii, just like we're going to take over America.
Yeah, but Hawaii didn't happen. Hawaii was earlier than JFK when we took over. But Hawaii, the reason why I'm saying Hawaii, hey, George, remember the election between Al Gore and uh, George W. Bush?
Yeah,
Do you remember how Florida was flip flopping all night,
all the time.
which led to the infamous hanging Chad BS?
Yep.
Well, a similar situation happened back in uh, uh, the election between Nixon and John F. Kennedy, where uh, Hawaii was the tiebreaker at that election and flip flop from Nixon and led it ultimately to John F. Kennedy.
Oh no, not John F. Kennedy.
Right. So, and you know why it always strikes me
Go on.
was that quote from Nixon who said who when somebody asked who killed John F. Kennedy, he said, "Well, me and Lyndon Johnson always wanted to be president, but I never had the fortitude to go through murdering one." Paraphrasing.
That's a huge paraphrase, sir.
Yeah, but it went something to that effect. Now, I don't know if that's true or if that's what Nixon believes or he saw something as president that he's able to see, but yeah, even the election for JFK is questionable. So the question becomes when was our last real election? And I think Trump's been pointing it at several times. President McKinley was our last dutifully elected president.
Yep.
And why I would say that? Because when he was running again, his vice president got assassinated. And who did they put him in place? Teddy Roosevelt. And what happened after Teddy Roosevelt got installed as vice president? McKinley gets assassinated, making
Wow.
Teddy the president. And Teddy was using all that money. Remember the Panama Canal, the national forest, all his policy came from not his policy, but the economic policy of McKinley and his vice president on with tariffs that was making us filthy rich.
Oh boy.
And then you notice after Teddy Roosevelt came into power, all of that started to systematically be dismantled until 1913, where the introduction of the Federal Reserve came into being.
Yep.
So we haven't had a real president since William McKinley. That's my speculation and opinion.
That's a huge speculation, sir. We'll
But
see if you're true.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, so Brian Case continue. Every Congress has been illegitimate. The federal agency and the federal courts are chock full of people who are not legally appointed, nominated, or confirmed. It's literally a shadow government in every sense of the word. When Trump and a team of military patriots moved to break the cycle in 2016 by literally beating their chief for Hillary Clinton, the people who constructed this vile, fake federal election system had nowhere to complain about it. To whom do you complain about somebody who muscled his way and took away your rigged election for your chosen candidate? You cannot complain too loudly about it, or the entire house of cards you built on a foundation of fake federal election for the past 65 plus year comes a tumbling down. You end up exposing yourself, not just a team patriot that took your rigged Hillary Clinton fake election from you, but put the wrong guy in there. Welcome to the silent war. It's about to get loud.
Yep.
Yeah. So, can you imagine waking up and finding out that your last legitimate president was a guy about 100 to 120 years ago? Yeah, it's like, yeah, your last real president, yeah, that was 120 years ago. People will freak the F out. You're saying that we've been a banana Republican? Yep. And you know what's so amazing? It showed you how strong the Constitution of our country was, that those criminal had to play by the rule even though they were screwing us, and they had to spend 100 plus years to really screw us. And at the final stretch of the mark, they stumble, and the system is snapping back into place like nothing is happening.
Oh boy.
So, what does that mean? If Congress is illegitimate and Trump is illegitimate, that means that any constitutional amendment made after um, William McKinley is not and void because those were illegitimate. That means any Supreme Court cases, judges, or decisions are non and void because they're not legitimate. Do you see the
Yep.
escalation? So, if that's the case, and that might not be the case, we don't know. It depends on how society takes it. We might wake up in a country that no longer has to say, "Oh, you don't need to pay uh, taxes. You don't have to pay Social Security taxes. You don't have to pay any of these taxes because they're non and void, repugnant to."
Well, yeah, because it was known. It wasn't. It didn't exist a long time ago.
Exactly,
Somebody tricked you into it.
exactly. But then it becomes a crazy question. It's like, well, wait a minute. That means that Social Security is not real. Medicare is not real. Medicaid is not real. Do you see where the problem comes?
Yep.
People will freak the F out. How are we going to survive? How are we going to uh, live? We were expecting Social Security to pay for us. Are we going to be out in the cold with nothing?
Yep.
And I'm just going to say, hey, remember that little thing that Trump did when he came back into office in 2025? That little thing called the Sovereignty Wealth Fund.
Yep.
Do you remember a couple of months ago when he was touting the Trump account,
Yep.
and he made a comment akin to, "Oh, this will probably replace Social Security." They're going to they're going to move Social Security away from an entitlement benefit into a incentive benefit. And by incentive means that the better that the country produce work and, succeed, the more money that sovereignty wealth fund is put in. Guess what? That sovereignty wealth funds, you get a dividend check. Remember, he kept saying, "You'll get a dividend checks. You'll get a dividend checks. The less money and less finance we have, the greater your dividend checks will be." Elon Musk has been pushing, higher income, uh, universal high income.
Yep.
How are you going to do universal high income? Well, if you're getting dividend checks from the government because you're a citizen, which is very important. This is for citizens. This is to incentivize people to become citizens, naturalize, and not be just illegal or legal residents. Then you get a dividend checks. Maybe it starts out one dividend checks per year. Maybe it'll turns out to be like Social Security and becomes dividend checks every month. I don't know. I don't know. Speculation, but you see, every institution Trump has been touting and introducing a program that's going to replace the program that's falling apart. Um, Pinto Americano low. It's been a day, and Canada's already spending billions to prop up its economy. They're not going to make it. The Minister of Industry of Canada, Millet Joy, announces a $7.5 billion aid package for businesses in response to U.S. tariffs. I don't know how that's going to work, but I want some.
Easy.
Yeah. You know what's amazing? I've been getting a lot of Ontario calls. Polymark.
You've been getting the Prince of Ontario phone calls?
Yeah, he's like, I am the Prince of Ontario. Oh, so you're Harry? No, the other brother. William? Yes.
No, no, the other one.
No, Charles?
The illegitimate one. They don't
Uh,
talk about me in the news. If you give me your credit card and your passwords, big money, big money.
big money, big money. All right. Polymark, just in. Governor Ron DeSantis declares the flock license plate cameras are out of control and calls for a new private safeguards in Florida.
New safeguards?
Yeah. Well, here's a safeguard. Don't use them. They're not needed. So why are you using them?
What do you need flock cameras? You can track people's cell phones.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. Unless you're tracking criminals and
Even
you're just
criminals.
doing
Criminals.
and you're just doing it out in the opens. I don't know. I have no idea what the flock cameras are for. You know?
Why do they even call it flock cameras? Why do they call it just evade your privacy cameras?
The White House, thanks to the leadership of President Trump and Secretary Kennedy, hundreds of beagles has been free from facilities that supplies dogs for animal testing. The Trump administration is committed to humane animal care. Happy National Dog Day. The beagles are safe under President Trump.
That's awesome.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know what I'm going to call this one, George? This one right here.
What?
I'm gonna call her Dolly.
Dolly.
Yeah, and this one right here, I'm gonna call him Tim.
Good old Tim.
You know, so we'll see what happens along the week. Oh, by the way, talking about Tim Curry, the actor, passed away at the age of 80.
Yep.
And Benny Johnson, you disappoint me because you said Tim Curry, Home Alone 2 passes away. That's the only one you can remember. But I know why he said Home Alone 2.
Why?
Because Trump makes a cameo in that movie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He didn't say the Rocky Horror Picture Show. No. He doesn't say it as Pennywise the Clown. No.
Or the demon from that Tom Cruise fantasy movie.
Was that him?
Legend.
Legend? Was that him?
Oh yeah, that was him.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was his
yeah.
buff body, man. That guy was buff. He was like Arnold Schwarzenegger buff.
Man. It was maniacal. Oh, yeah. And, he almost had the role of the Joker in the Batman animated series. But due to acute bronchitis, Mark Hamill had to step in.
What?
Yeah. So that's the excuse they said. Oh yeah, Tim Curry was maniacal in that first episode, and unfortunately he had acute bronchitis, so we had to fire him and hire um, Mark Hamill.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, the Wild Thornberries. Um, he's in a lot of movies, George. A lot of movies. If I can remember. Um, oh yeah, he was the Pirates of the Penazon. The Muppets um Treasure Island. Remember that? Muppet Treasure Islands?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Congos. Oh yeah, he was in that was it the Disney Three Musketeers? It was Cardinal Richelieu.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Trying to think. Um, so Legend as the Lore of Darkness. Wow, as you said. Now that I come with that. Um, let me see. Oh yeah, he was also in the Shadow.
Oh yes, he was one of the Renfield in the Shadow.
Yeah,
That was a really good. Oh, that was a really good role, man.
yeah,
And the Shadow tries to what go break him,
yeah,
and he goes like, "You can't break me. I'm already crazy."
yeah. Let me see. Congo. He was in Congo. Remember Congo?
Yep.
The Hunt for Red October.
Oh, he was in that, really?
Yeah, yeah. I think he was one of the Russian submarine opposite to
Oh
John
yes, that's
Connery.
right.
He's like, I'm a British guy. I'm a British guy acting against a Russian Scottish guy. That was crazy. Um, Let me see what else. What else? If I can remember. Um, I remember he was in the TV show Duckman. Um, in USA. Remember Duckman?
Yep, yep.
He's been in a lot of voice acting, which is kind of crazy. Um, Let's see. What else? What else? What else? Let's see. I'm trying to remember. So he's in Home Alone. That we talked about Home Alone 2. Oh, Loaded Weapon 1. Remember Loaded Weapon?
Yeah.
He was in that one.
Oh yeah, that was the parody.
Yeah. He was acting as Jigsaw in that one. Um he was in Charlie's Angel with Cameron Diaz and Lucy Liu. I think Drew Barrymore was the third one.
Yeah, Drew Barrymore.
Yeah, he was in that one. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think. He's played a lot of bit roles throughout the televisions. Um, let's see. I'm trying to think more. So if I can remember, he's been in
Clue. He was
Scooby
in
Doo,
Clue.
a lot of Scooby Doo's.
He was in Clue.
Oh yeah, Clue, 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 Clue. Why?
Yeah, that was an epic scene. That was epic.
Yeah, it was like Wadworth. That was him. I don't know why that didn't come out easily. So yeah, let me see. Um, I know he played Gomez in the Adams Family reunion, but that was like direct to TV.
Really?
Yeah, not because you're thinking the Adams Family and the Adams Family's Value, and they wanted to make a third one, but Julia Raw passed away, and the whole cast like, without Julia Raw, we're not going to be part of it. So they made a direct TV, and he played Adam Gomez with a new set of actors that continued the story, but it wasn't the same. Oh, Annie! He was also in Annie. Remember Annie?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So I think we covered his body of work extensively. Speaking of also dying, the stocks for Krispy Kreme donuts is falling down.
Oh shit! I gotta buy some Krispy Kreme donuts and save them, mint condition.
Yeah, Krispy Kreme stocks are has crashed more than 90%. A private equity firm bought the company in 2016 and decided that instead of making fresh donuts in every store, they would produce them in a single location and ship them out to the stores.
Yeah. How do you destroy your brand? You do exactly that.
Well, you know what? They're not the only one because Dunkin' Donuts did the same thing.
And where are they now?
They're gone. They're disappear. They're they're like like tears and rain. John Root breaking Ennis Kander Freedom has sent a letter to the WNBA commissioner Kathy Engelberg requesting five answers to five questions after his ejection from the Fever versus Sky game and banned from the arena. One, identify the policy, rule, directive, or instruction rely upon in treating certain spectator, including me, differently when we express a viewpoint that appears unpopular with the WNBA. Two, identify whether the decision to eject me was made or requested by WNBA personnel, Chicago Sky personnel, Wintrust Arena personnel, security personnel, or another individual or entity. Three, confirm whether Ms. Cloud's conduct has been or will be reviewed under any league policy governing player interaction with the fan, including rules governing altercation that requires player suspension, and state what accountability, if any, she, her team, or management will face. Four, provide a full refund of my cost of my courtside tickets. Five, Preserve all material related to this incident, including the relevant video footage, incident security report, communication concerning my attendance or removal, communication referring to my WNBA draft announcement, or public advocacy for women's sports, and any applicable policy or event day directives. You have 5 days to respond.
This is leading up to a lawsuit. Doo-da,
Lassa
doo-da.
Duda. It's going to be a class action lawsuit. Eric, Ontario, Canada Premier Doug Ford rages at Donald Trump and proclaims he'll be viciously targeting red state with economic pain because of tariffs. We're going to hit the red states hard.
I'm sorry. That's all I have to say. On behalf of everyone on the planet, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy? People are starting to pick up the thing I have been saying. Commenting. This is from MJ True Ultra. Bill Gates is also 80. Bill Gates is 80 years old. August 1964. Hope, Arkansas. Cher is also 80 years old. I wonder if we're going to see more 80s disappearing. You know.
Yep.
It feels like it's going to be that clean sweep because I've just noticed a pattern, George. The U.S. Marshals celebrating National Dog Day with a big salute to our incredible USMS canines.
Did they really come together and pose for that?
Yes. They came together right now over me. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, doom, doom,
I don't think they came together like that. There's no way that many dogs would be. Actually, no. Those dogs are really well trained.
Exactly. They're like, bomb. You're going to sit here. You're going to sit here. You're going to sit here. Look at me. Stay. Boom. Done. All right. Treat for y'all, guys. Nick Sortors. Breaking. Waltz loses. A federal judge has denied Tim Waltz and Keith Ellison emergency request to force Texas Governor Greg Abbott to extradite an ICE agent to Minnesota for prosecution. Sorry, boyo. We can't do that. That's far from your jurisdiction. ICE agent ICE agent Christian Costello will likely be released from Texas custody tomorrow under Texas law. An inmate awaiting extradition can only be held in custody for 90 days. Tomorrow is day 90, so Texas will have no choice but to release him. Minnesota tried taking an ICE agent as a political prisoner. Abbott successfully protected him. Thank you, Greg Abbott.
Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
I'm under the assumption that Tim Walz is literally sitting in his position waiting for the opportunity that Trump will no longer be in power so he can get away with it.
Yeah. But, it's not happening.
That's nuts.
Because as Trump said, no longer will our enemy wait us out any longer.
We'll unwait the waiters.
Yeah, they won't be able to wait. U.S. Attorney Massachusetts, State Representative Francisco Paulino, representing the 16 Essen district, has been arrested and charged for alleged pandemic benefit fraud. A separate incident also unsealed today, charging Lawrence Major Brian DePena with COVID-19 relief fraud. U.S. Attorney Foley to hold a press conference at 11 a.m. with the federal courthouse in Boston. So basically, two officials has been caught with fraud Fraud, George. Fraud.
That's a lot of F's, sir.
Yeah. Now, here's a crazy thing. This from Concerned Citizens. To the god Ezrael, the late Dolly Parkin, accompanied by Jennifer Aniston and Sandra Bullock, toasting Azrael from the Hebrew Bible, in which it's claimed a Jewish script Ezrael was a watcher who rebelled against God in the book of Enoch. Do you see it yet? All right, let's see if you actually said it.
To the goddess sound. Oh, Lordy. To the goddess sound.
Oh, that she's a Satanist? Oh,
Yeah.
everybody knows that. Jeez.
Yeah, that makes sense. You just got to be open-minded about things.
Yep.
And if you're not open-minded about things, then you don't know what it is.
Yep.
All right. Current Tom Watkins, read this, please. It's important. Why isn't it mentioned in the decades of using Nepal as a terrorist training camp for the CIA to launch attacks on the interior of China? Angelo, the Western NGO didn't just block Nepal's dam, they built a political class that still can't protect the country, and the last revolution was their handiwork. Today's flash flood catastrophe in the Nepal-China border, dozens dead, hundreds missing, villages, infrastructure erased, exposes the same pattern. For decades, the Western NGOs and their funders, which would be the USAID, NETS, and the usual network of civil society outfits, systematically blocked major barges and storage projects. Environmental purity tests and indigenous right campaign killed Arun III, Stal West Setis, and others. Nepal was left with run-of-the-river scheme. The generated power with the weather cooperate, but offer no flood regulation when the upstream avalanche or glacier surge hits. Some routines over infrastructure surrender to foreign vetoes. So you continue here. Oh, here it is. So because of foreign actors overtaking a country's society, the city sees this.
Oopsie.
Yeah. How many deaths happen? So, all right. Senator Chuck Grassley says our corn is now denting stage, about 6 weeks away from harvest. Notice the indentations at the top of the kernel. We have timely rain, so kernels fill to end. Sometime in a dry year, you can see the cob at the end of a year. Pretty good harvest coming up. Corn watch. Yeah, if this isn't a calm to say that we're about to rock and roll in 6 weeks, then I don't know what it is.
We're about to rock and roll in 6 weeks.
Yeah, let's see if that happens. Let's see, Chuck. Let's see what the amazing 6 weeks away from harvest is going to be. Don't give us a disappointing Christmas, Chuck.
Chuck's the best. Forget about the rest.
Exactly. Attorney General James Uthermeyer. Florida didn't join the Meta settlement. The payouts are peanuts compared to the profound harms Meta profit-driven additives feature inflict on kids. A slap on the wrist for $1 trillion corporation that will pay more to lawyers than to the state. We will see them at trial. These are responding to Fox News. Meta agreed to pay up to $17 billion and make sweeping changes to Facebook infrastructure and Instagram for minors, bringing a landmark federal trial over its claims its platform harmed children to an abrupt end. Claudia reports that the settlement with 29 states will require a stronger age verification, uses limit, and overnight restriction and breaks, along with bans on feature like plastic surgery filters. Meta denies wrongdoing according to the court documents. The deal will still need court approval and will remain in effect for the next 10 years. Except for Florida, because the Attorney General is going ahead with trials. Georgie?
All I know is you guys can play as much as you want. As soon as Canada takes over America, we're going to rename everything, to the Canadas.
To the Canadas.
Yeah, everything's going to be the Gulf of Canada. The hemisphere will be called the Canada. The Canada's North and Canada's South hemisphere.
Yeah.
Southern Canada, Northern Canada.
Okay.
The United States of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we'll be adding you your 50 states, and we'll be renaming them provinces. 50 provinces to our 10 provinces, so we have 60 provinces altogether. And territories. We'll rename Puerto Rico territory of Canada. And Spain, we'll rename Spain territory of Canada too.
That feels like more copium than reality, George.
I'm telling you, it's happening.
It's happening.
Yep.
All right.
Well, think about it this way: Canada already owns the Strait of Hormuz. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Think about it. How many countries on the planet have a moose in their country? Only Canada. Why would they call it the Strait of Hormuz?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So not Washington, because there is moose in Washington.
No. That's just a moose grazing in the United States of America. They know where their house. They know where their home is at.
Or in Alaska.
Yeah, like I said, they're just grazing. They're in Alaska to get some ice for their food, for their drink.
All right. Gunther Eagleman, huge win. Florida just rescued 163 missing children in a 5-day multi-agency operation called Statewide Shield. Law enforcement recovered kids who have been trafficked, neglected, or exploited or abused and are now back in safe custody and getting the care they need. Huh. Interesting. They're able to find kids now easily. Where before you would just put a picture on the milk and say, look, we did all we could. But now they're finding kids like left and right. Like you throw a stone. Hey, we found these predators. Hey, we found these kids.
Yay.
And then last but not least for tonight, table saw. Doug Ford discovered that Canadian oil is shipped through the U.S. back to Canada. I have to give credit to Danielle Smith. She came up with this idea to reroute Canadian oil through Canada. Unbelievable. They don't know about this massive risk. Let's hear your Premier Ford.
Smith on Monday. Yeah. She's obviously still opposed to that idea. From your point of view, how did that conversation go? And is there anything you think you can do to get her on board with your approach?
Well, we had a great conversation. We get along quite well. We may disagree on certain items, but I'm going to be flying out there to pay her a visit. This is why we need, the pipeline. We've needed this for 50 years, going from west over to east. And we're going to work on that. We're going to work collaboratively with Alberta and Premier Wab Kinew. We have to get...
But it's Ottawa that's been stopping the pipe from going.
His approval, and Scott Moe, and everyone has to work together. I'm confident that's going to happen. But Premier Smith came up with some great ideas. Right now, we're getting our fuel and our natural gas coming down to the U.S. and coming back up to Canada. Craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. and the natural gas coming from Pennsylvania coming up. Well, we already have an existing pipeline, so we're going to reroute that, and we won't.
You guys have an existing
Yeah,
pipeline?
there was a reason why it was going through America. You know what the reason was?
The lakes?
No, for, two reasons.
Go ahead.
As far as I understand it.
Go ahead.
Reason one was expediency in terms of we call going through the least resistance in terms of terrain.
Mm-hmm.
Secondly, they sell the gas to America. There's little spigots along the line.
Yeah. I don't know.
Have to be reliant on the U.S. Isn't that amazing that we have energy sovereignty? Once we build this pipeline, we won't have to rely on anyone in the entire world, and that's our plan. And we're going to go as quickly as possible. So,
then why did Ottawa keep shutting it down?
Oh no, she's not talking about the Keystone Pipeline.
No, not the Keystone.
This is the other pipeline.
No, this is the East Line. Is that what they call?
Yeah, the East Line.
Yeah, the East Line pipeline. We're talking about that. I'm not talking about the Keystone Pipeline. The Keystone Pipeline makes us get more gas easier. No, we're talking about the East Pipeline that goes west to east,
Yes.
That should have happened for your country, but for whatever reason, every time it comes up, your prime minister and parliament keep shutting it down for some crazy reason. Just keep shutting it down.
Yep.
we get along very well. Again, we may differ on a couple things, but we have a strong plan. And I got to give Premier Smith the credit. She was the one who came up with these ideas, that rerouting this natural gas line and eventually rerouting Line 5.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I think we'll stop here. Happiest we'll have for tonight. Thank you to our Lord bots. Thank you to our chat. George, what's your final thoughts?
Oh, yeah. And that confirms that what Doug said. We're going to be taking over America pretty soon.
All right. Let's rock and roll. We'll all be funny with funny accents. All right. Everybody, peace out.
I believe that together we can make America great again. I believe that together we can make America great again.